From Cavite, Kimberly Hackinson.
Good evening, judges.
Here's your first question. What advice will you give to a first-time voter for the 2022 elections? Time starts now.
We have fought long and hard for our right to suffrage. And this is not something that we should waste. For us to be able to complain and be able to appreciate the things that we have as Filipino citizens, we have to vote. We have to participate in selecting our leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, here is your second question. This pandemic has made clear our priorities, essential or non-essential. Where do pageants stand in this time of crisis?
I am someone who is usually an independent person. But because of this beauty pageant, I realized that I needed to ask for help, that I needed to reach out to people. And same goes for everyone else. To be able to survive something as big as this pandemic, altruism should be practiced and cooperation is always the key. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for Cavite, Kimberly Hackinson.
Definitely. And up next is Binibining number 19. Kindly step towards the table and pick your card.
My judge is Miss Maria Garcia.
Good evening, Binibining.
Good evening.
My question is, in what ways can a female public servant or politician can be more effective than a male politician?
Well, I really understand that all of us are doing our best to give the best service to everyone. And I can say that men servants are very strong when it comes to making decisions, and with women, they are very passionate when it comes to the things that they are doing, and they're very sensitive with the feeling of the other people, and that's what makes women servants different from men.
Thank you, candidate number 19.
Next up, we shall hear from Bohol, Pauline Amalings.
Good evening.
Good evening again.
How are you?
Overwhelmed, but all in all, very grateful to be here.
Yes, here we go. Your first question. What factors influence you in deciding on what to buy or post online?
The factors that help me decide that is basically what I want to put out there, what I want to show the world about myself, how I want to portray myself. What matters most is that we know who we are, that we are true to our authentic selves, and that we always try our best to show and share that to the rest of the world, and hopefully inspire them to do the same.
Thank you. Here is your second question. This pandemic has made clear our priorities, essential and non-essential. Where do pageants stand in this time of crisis? Go.
I think pageants are now an amazing platform to show that not all our dreams are canceled. They're just put on hold. And for us, we're lucky that we're still able to make this one dream come true, to stand here, to spread hope, to rally people together in action and conversation, and spark change. And together, I'm sure, we can make a positive impact out there on this stage. That is the essence of beauty pageants in the time of the pandemic.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Bohol, Pauline Amalings.
Next up, we have Binibining number 10, Maureen Montaigne.
My judge is Secretary Benito Bengdon Jr.
Good evening, Binibini. Here's my question. Now that compassion is needed more than ever, what is your most recent act of kindness, and how did this affect others?
During the pandemic, I was in Siargao, and together, friends and I banded together and we created the Siargao Community Kitchen. It was a trying time and everyone felt how hard it was. Our hearts were heavy, but together we rose. Together we supported our communities and provided our hot meals and assistance to everyone on the island and helped as much as we could. And for me, it proved that together, community conquers all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Binibini 10, Maureen Montaigne. And
Here we go. Our first question. If you are under strict quarantine and isolation, what is the most important mobile app for you and why?
The most important app during this whole quarantine was my Bible. Having faith in the midst of this pandemic was very vital to me, not only for my mental health, but also for my sanity. It got me through the toughest of times. I was able to get through others through the toughest of times, and it kept me centered and it kept me grounded. And that's the most important thing that I would need in a pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you ready for your second question?
Yes, bring it on.
All right, here it comes. This pandemic has made clear our priorities, essential and non-essential. Where do pageants stand in this time of crisis? Time starts now.
As we all know, pageants are a very, very inspiring event, not only to the Philippines, but to every country who supports pageantry. It is important to stage a pageant and to show the Philippines that we are much more than our setbacks, than our failures, and that we are able to overcome any adversity. Having a pageant symbolizes hope, and right now on the stage, that is who we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Quezon City, Michelle Gumabao.
Cinderella Obenita. Hi, Kat and Nicole. I have chosen celebrity guest panelist, Mr. Michael Cinco. Kindly turn to the screen to see your question.
Hello and good evening to you, Binibining. Here's my question. How important are luxury items like bags, clothes, and jewelry for a woman when the national economy is down and struggling?
In life, we always find ourselves at a crossroad of choices. Women always have a choice whether to prioritize luxury items while we are facing a pandemic, and also they have a choice to embrace a concept of a new beautiful, which is responsive to the needs of the time, adaptive to the change of times. And I think I would choose to be that woman who understands the problems of the Philippines, the problems of my community, so that we would be able to uplift each other. And I would be that kind of woman who would comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Mayang gabi sa inyong tanan.
Very well said. And
Paranaque, Maria Isabella Ismael. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
To a child who has never seen a pageant, how would you describe a beauty queen?
I would tell that child that a beauty queen is somebody who is, first and foremost, a human being. She's somebody that is proud of who she is, but most importantly, she is somebody that brings hope. When she wears that crown on her head, it's not just because she's the most beautiful girl in the room, but it's because she's the woman who inspires hope. She's the woman who inspires love and productivity and somebody being authentic. And a beauty queen is somebody that we should always look up to.
Thank you. Time for your second question. This pandemic has made clear our priorities, essential or non-essential. Where do pageants stand in a time of crisis?
In my experience with the pandemic and being in one of the most prestigious pageants in the Philippines, I have realized that pageants are something that can give Filipinos hope, and it's something that can give Filipinos something to look forward to. It's something that we as Filipinos, as a pageant-loving nation, it's something that we're so proud of. It's something that gives us life. And that's the relevance of what a pageant is. We help each other out, we help other people, and we help ourselves grow. We help each other prosper through any negative aspect.
Thank you very much. Round of applause, Paranaque, Maria Isabella Ismael.
up next, we have candidate number 1, Samantha Panlilio. I chose Judge Mr. Rahul Laurel.
Good evening, Binibini. Hi.
Good
evening,
evening.
Binibini.
Good evening.
YOLO. You only live once. Name something you learned and did for the first time during the pandemic, which you consider as the most life-changing of all.
The one thing that I did during the pandemic was actually cook food for frontliners because I love to cook. And I also have a food vlog, which I do in my spare time. And it was such a fulfilling and humbling experience, you know, helping these people and helping contribute to the people who are actually in the front lines helping us Filipinos. And so I hope that what I did inspired other women too to also help out one another, because the only way that we can survive and heal and recover through this pandemic is if we help one another. Thank you.
Just in the nick of time. Thank you so much, Binibini 1.
Now let's call on
Good evening.
Iloilo.
Good evening, Casey. How are you doing?
I'm nervous. For everybody. Okay. So, all right, here we go. Your first question. If you could create a new paper currency with the image of any Filipino on it, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
If I were given the chance, I want to use the face of Miriam Defensor Santiago. For those who don't know, she was an Ilongga, but what I admired about her is that she used her knowledge, her voice to serve the country. And I want to be somebody like her, somebody who puts her heart, her passion into action. And after all, she is the best president that we never had.
Okay, it's time for your second question. This pandemic has made clear our priorities, essential or non-essential. Where do pageants stand in this time of crisis?
As a candidate, I know I'm not just the face of Iloilo City, but I am here carrying hope and as a symbol of light in the darkest times. And as of the moment, I want to help my community. I want to use my strength to make an impact. And that is the essence of beauty pageant. It gives us the power to make a difference.
Well said, Iloilo. Rabia Mateo.
Up from Masbate is Binibini 17, Hannah Arnold.
My judge is Miss Pinky Webb.
Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
Given the reach and power of social media, do you believe that genuine freedom of speech exists in the Philippines nowadays? Why or why not?
First of all, freedom of speech is a basic human right that we all must remember. And it is important for a democracy. And with our upcoming election, we definitely need free speech. For example, on Twitter, we are limited to few characters, and what I have seen from these tweets has been powerful and has helped me think about who I would like to vote for in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Thank you, Binibini number 7.